identifiers are coming in hot today.
I don't even need a Coke today. I just feel like it's my brand now, so I got a caffeine-free one because I'm already pretty heavily caffeinated. But
Fired up. Well, welcome back
to the dozens.
and the dozens.
We're so glad that you're here.
49 BC.
49 B. It's crazy, man.
The start of the fifth dozen.
Yeah, Sarah was mentioned. This is the beginning of the fifth dozen episodes.
I am the 49th, the start of the fifth.
Next episode will be the episode of Jubilee, number 50.
Yes. Yes.
All the prisoners will be released. All debts will be canceled. If you owe us any money, we'll make it right.
Maybe what we could say is, like, if you have a backlog of episodes that you've been needing to get to,
there you go.
the year of Jubilee is you get a clean slate. You're automatically declared up to date. We'll say that. You've got like 10 hours of episodes yet to listen to.
Which is only 5 episodes. Get on it, people.
Yeah.
What are you doing with your
No,
life?
it was probably like 20 minutes of this one and 60 minutes of this one.
Are there non-completers out there? There are people who don't listen to the whole episode?
I was just talking to a lady that was putting together our communion stuff for Good Friday service. And she's like, I love your podcast, but I never get to finish it. She's like, I just can't sit and watch that long. I'm like,
well, tell her A, listen, and B, do it in phases.
That's what I told her. And she had that same look your dad had when you told him he didn't have to preach 2 different sermons at 2 different churches.
Yeah.
Oh, I can just listen?
Yes.
Like, yeah.
And also you can
and you can turn it off.
Yeah, it'll remember where you were.
Here's a tip to the dozens. Neither of us are going to be offended if you press pause and come back the next day. We won't know.
Totally.
No.
And we won't, like,
it's not rude.
I listen to some podcasts that are like 3 hours long, and I never listen to them. Like, it's not like I just sit down and listen for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I'm listening in the shower. I'm listening in the car. I'm listening at the gym.
Yeah. I feel like the bulk of the dozens all do that, but we're really helping like a dozen of the dozens right now.
The Amish dozen out there to understand how technology works.
Oh, yeah. Pause. Spotify is probably the best platform to use, unless you have a premium subscription to YouTube that you can use it like Spotify. So if you have a premium subscription, which, thank you, sir, you sold me on that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
There you go.
And no ads.
Yeah.
And you get the privilege of turning off a video, but it'll still stream the audio on your phone.
Oh, nice.
So
I've never used it.
Which basically is just doing what Spotify will do for free.
Yeah. Well, that's why I mean, Apple Podcasts, same thing.
But you don't get the video on the Apple Pod.
Oh, I don't want the video.
Oh, but a lot of people want to see our faces. I mean, can you blame them?
Print out an 8x10 glossy of my face and just hold it in front of you while you listen. I know most of you.
Seems way
I know
worse.
most of you own one anyway, so yeah.
I see a batch of.
I think we need that in the merch store
with an autograph.
headshots.
That's gotta happen.
If you and I ever wanted, I mean, we both have a bit of a competitive streak. If we ever wanted to just really throw down, we'll order a stack of 100 each.
Over the last 12 months, AJ has sold 7 and Brent has sold 5.
Now you realize you're going to have to put.
I need to sell this 6th one.
You're going to have to put Ben McDonald in that stack too, because
neither of our egos could take that.
Oh, come on.
No, that's. I already feel like less of a man around him anyway. I don't.
We're not here to let anybody else win.
There's some things like you believe it's true, but you need proof, and then there's other things you believe it's true, but the last thing you want is proof.
Yeah, that's
where I'm at with that. Like,
we all know.
Could you just leave me a little margin to deceive myself?
Let's introduce our guest today. People are wondering.
Our guest today, Sarah Kingston, is not just a former employee of the legendary Gateway Meat Market in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. She's also a personal friend, and I used to be her pastor. Sarah is just about to finish her first year as a student at Kingswood University, where she's studying Pastoral Ministry. For those of you watching the video, you may suspect that Sarah is a little bit older than your stereotypical first-year Bible college student, and you would be right. Sarah's journey to Jesus and to pursuing his call on her life has been pretty atypical all around and is full of conviction and inspiration for us all. We look forward to getting into that story in a few minutes, but first, let's give an enthusiastic back corner welcome to Sarah Kingston!
Thank you. It is a pleasure. I was blessed to be able to be invited to come here.
Too soon to say that.
Well,
you don't know how this is going to go. What could happen?
You got another 80 minutes or so before you should make that determination.
The day that I got the message from AJ, all he simply said was, "Do you know about my podcast?" And in that moment, I sat there and I was like, he's going to ask me to be a guest. And when he asked me to be a guest, God, I'm going to say yes. Like, I had just already decided, like, I have a feeling this is where this is going, but I am going to be obedient and I'm going to say yes.
That's awesome. We're glad you're here. I think that was a tactful way of saying you get a cool story and an awesome journey when he's basically saying you're old to be a first-year student.
I am old. They are old enough to be my children.
Well, we're all part of the same generation because I just played the Littlest Hobo theme song a second ago.
That's our hype up music.
I
before
saw
we start.
the recognition in Sarah's face. I saw her childhood come to the light of her eyes. She immediately knew.
Sunday afternoons.
Oh man, just great programming. So, yeah, sponsors.
Sponsor today is the Atlantic Kingdom Alliance. Our annual prayer summit for pastors and church leaders is coming up on May 14th at Groundswell Church in Truro from 10 to 3. If you are a pastor or a church leader, think like priest, pastor, board member, elder, leadership team member, key ministry leader, whatever, in Atlantic Canada, we would love to see you there. You can find more info on this event and other things we're doing on our Facebook group or by going to AtlanticKingdomAlliance.com and signing up for our email newsletter. That's the Atlantic Kingdom Alliance.
Shoot. Also, this is coming out April 7th, which means, men, you've got a couple days left to register for XY. This will be the last time you hear XY registration opportunity. You're going to hear from a couple people involved in the coming weeks,
and after XY, we will come back and tell you all the ways you're such a loser for having not been there.
Definitely.
There'll be shame, humiliation, mockery.
Yeah. All the things that we love to do.
Totally.
Yeah. Actually, it is good. That won't happen. But the conference this year is shaping up to be amazing. We have, as of today, well over 1,000 already registered.
Wow.
And we're like, a couple weeks out still.
Yeah. So way ahead of pace for last year.
Like I think last year, 2 weeks out, we were sitting at like 500, and we ended up with almost 1,200.
Yeah.
So there's a world where this could get to 1,500, 1,700 people.
That's awesome.
We'll see, but anyway, it's going to be a party. We have enough already registered to know it's going to be a absolute party. So
fantastic.
Guys, don't miss it. Seriously though, you're going to be missing a thing. Like that was a moment, and so just get it done. Come on out, April 17th, 18th in Moncton. So you can go to xyconference.com and register today. And I actually just had a conversation with a guy today. He said, like, I want to go, but I can't afford it. And so, like, just there's a place on our website that if you need financial assistance, we just want to make sure that any guy that wants to go can go. And so we'll find a way to get you covered. Totally. So just go register today and don't miss it. So that's coming up real soon. All right, should we fire up the teletype machine?
Yeah, we got to. Ron, what are you researching, man?
Well, since Easter just passed, I want to know how you guys feel about peeps. Do you like them?
Peeps?
Yes? No.
Peeps.
Oh, that's a great question.
Oh, they're horrible. I have no interest in them.
I mean, right now maybe you don't, but like, have you ever? Do you like?
Let's get clarity. What's a peep?
It's the little marshmallow duck shape looking
See them
thing.
I know what they
purple,
are.
yellow,
It's like a rubber ducky made of marshmallows.
Yeah, it's just a
Yeah. No, I've never.
Or a bunny.
Now,
treat.
mind you, in my family growing up, we didn't. I was going to say we didn't celebrate Easter. That's not far off from the truth. Well, that's exactly it. It's a big work weekend. We don't have time to.
Right.
So, yeah, like I think I got like an Easter basket with candy maybe twice in my childhood. It just wasn't. And that was actually, I think my great grandmother sent money to my parents and said, buy the kids stuff. So, yeah, like I don't even know if I would have had a peep until I was like college at least. And
peeps for you.
And I was not that into it. Now I will say I like the real cheap, junky 50% wax milk chocolate bunny.
Love it.
Eat that all day.
Nah,
because I'm pretty white trash. But
some of the chocolate and candy around Easter is horrid. My parents used to buy because contrary to what you think, I wasn't a rich kid growing up, and my parents used to buy those like hard sugar eggs, there's just pure sugar inside like a hard candy shell.
Basically a giant jelly bean egg-shaped thing. Yeah.
Is it like the robin eggs? We had the robin eggs growing up.
Yeah,
so it's almost like the Maltesers, but like big and different colors.
But mine didn't have that beautiful chocolatey crunch inside. It was pure sugar when you bite in.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, I know the ones you're talking about.
Yeah.
They're like a translucent red, blue.
Yeah.
Like a glazed color on them.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Those were the...
We once lived in an apartment where it was built in the 70s, this building, and they'd figured out the idea of what is now radiant in-floor heat, but they were used to ductwork being in the ceiling, so they put the heat for your apartment in your ceiling, which really meant you controlled the floor heat of the people above you.
Right.
I don't know which country in the Middle East our downstairs neighbors came from, but they kept it so hot. I kid you not. We hid Easter eggs for our kids one year, and they melted from sitting on the floor. That's how hot they kept it.
A Qatar underneath you.
It was ridiculous. Literally, like you couldn't. You'd go in to read like a bedtime story to your kids, and you'd sit on the floor, and after about 10 minutes, you had to get up because like your butt hurt. It was so hot. So, fortunately, we didn't pay for electricity, so we just left our windows open all winter.
Yeah, I'm going. What's your take on Peeps?
I personally haven't really had a whole lot of them, but I do know some people who have an extreme fear of them.
Really?
They
A peep
cannot
phobia?
see them. They cannot look at them. They see them in the shelves and they turn around and walk the other way screaming. Like it is just.
It's one of those weird phobias.
It
huh?
is.
Interesting. I've eaten them, so I'm not afraid of them, but they aren't overly delicious in my experience. But
I'm not big on marshmallow anything really.
I mean, a s'more.
Yeah, but if you had to take one thing out of a s'more and me still eat it, marshmallow would be what I'd pick.
That'd be your first pick?
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting rid of the graham crackers.
Oh, I love me a
first.
graham cracker.
Yeah, that's so Sussex
Sweet
of you.
cardboard.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm white. I have the most white trash taste in the world. Yeah,
Give me a half stale graham cracker.
process the heck out of it, make
Where
it
it's a little
bland.
soft.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Awesome.
Don't never close that bag up all the way tight. You're just going to keep them too crispy.
Yeah, I'm going no on the Peeps. Pretty much most Easter candy at this point. Let me just pick a bone about Easter though. Not our Lord and Savior's, great holy day, but the celebration around it. Notice to parents, stop buying your kids like PlayStations and stuff at Easter, please. It's hard enough to keep up with you psychos at like Christmas.
Yeah.
When my kid's got to think that Santa doesn't love him as much as his friends.
Christmas and birthday
But,
is adequate
like,
for any
come
sort of big
on.
gift.
Like, just get the kid a basket of, candy, maybe a hat.
Bubbles,
call it
chalk.
Call
Here's
it a
what
day.
I think you should do.
Stop making a second Christmas, please.
On Good
You're
Friday,
ruining it for us.
take their favorite toys and hide them.
There we go.
And then on Easter
Christmas
morning,
over
give
again.
them back.
Yeah, there.
They died and they rose again,
I
right?
can get behind. I can get behind
Where's my
that.
PlayStation?
What a great.
Low in the grave.
Yeah. This is the debt of your sin.
That's right.
Being accrued against you.
I
And
like it.
He lives. It lives. Your PlayStation lives today. Yeah, perfect. That's great. New tradition.
New tradition.
Unlocked.
You heard it here on the back corner.
That's
First.
awesome. Speaking of traditions,
Yeah.
keep her sweet.
Let's get into this.
Let's get into our first segment. Everyone's favorite segment, where we decide to keep or sweep.
I'm a big fan. So today I thought we would take advantage of some of Sarah's expertise and talk about premium cuts of meat.
All right.
So Sarah, as I alluded to at the beginning, used to be a meat cutter at the legendary Gateway Meat Market in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia.
It must be legendary.
It is actually
in
like
Halifax.
like people will be lined up like
Really?
out the door
It's
around
insane.
the parking
Really?
lot.
It's insane.
The
Yep.
premier place to buy meat.
It
in
is the
Halifax.
premier place to buy non-premier meat in all of Halifax. So first I wanted to ask you this. Is there a difference between a meat cutter and a butcher?
Yes, there is.
What is the difference between a meat cutter and a butcher?
So
Are meat cutters like the LPNs to the butchers
RN.
RN?
Nice. Okay.
Basically, a butcher is going to be someone who does swinging carcasses. Like
Okay.
when the meat used to come in the old day on a hook,
Yep.
and they used to have to break down
Yep.
half the cow itself. That's considered a butcher. Meat cutter myself, that's just basically taking all those pieces that have already been broken down by the butcher
Okay.
and further breaking them down into steak and roast size.
Okay.
You're the post-butcher.
I'm learning
Yeah.
something here.
Okay, well, this has been very insightful already. So when it comes to meat, let's say beef in this case, some people think that it's all about getting the nicest cut of meat possible, like maybe a filet mignon or a ribeye. Other people say it's really about how you cook it, and any cut of meat can be delicious if you know what you're doing with it. So what do you guys say? Premium cuts of meat, they worth the money. Keep it or sweep it.
I really just want to learn from the expert here because
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's your take, Sarah?
Honestly, you can take any type of meat and make it like the most premium meat you've ever had. You can take the roundest, toughest steak and you can slice it through with a butter knife if you marinate it properly, tenderize it, and put it low and slow heat. I think personally, filet mignon is totally overrated because
Really?
there is no fat in it. There is no flavor. It's simply you're getting the tenderness. You're able to chew it if you have no teeth.
So that's
per
what
se.
that's what you're paying for.
You're paying for the fact
The
that you
ease
can
of consumption.
Tenderness,
Exactly.
but not deliciousness.
But if you ask any meat cutter, they're more than likely going to say prime rib is the far superior steak because it has the marbling, it has the extra little bit of fat that's going to give it its flavor.
No kidding.
And the bone just adds all of the juice and the moisture to it too.
Wow.
There you go.
I'm learning stuff here.
That's like an example of the whole, like, people take something that's good and hyper focus on it to the point where it's bad. The whole filet mignon. Like, who doesn't want a tender piece of meat? Mm-hmm. But then it's like,
But there's no flavor to
that's
it.
what I'm saying. Anything for tenderness. And it's like, no, but you want flavor. You want juiciness. You want.
Yep.
So if you had to pick, like if a butcher came in and there's a whole
Or a meat cutter.
A butcher and then obviously the meat cutter came in and made it
Right
into the
afterwards.
cuts
There we go.
and said, take your pick. What are you going home with?
Oh, I'm going home with prime rib every day.
All day, every day.
All day, every day.
Okay. Wow.
There we go. We'll
See,
have to
I-
add that to the shopping list. Prime rib.
Prime rib.
Every now, I'm not a big, like, I mean, I like steak, but in terms of for the money and stuff, it's not something I like eat frequently. And I don't often get like a hankering for it, but every now and again, I'm just like, I just want to sit down and eat a steak. Just a steak, no sides, no nothing, just a steak.
I will give you a tip though.
All right.
So
What's
prime
the-
prime
go ahead.
rib, of course, is generally a high end, so you are going to pay for
Mm-hmm.
it. Whereas boneless blade, for instance, is like your low end. You're not going to pay as much for it. But if you look at the anatomy of a cow, the boneless blade and the prime rib butt up against each other.
They're the same
So
area?
they're the same ends. So if you go into a store or whatever and
literally
ask,
writing this
can I
down.
have the small end of a boneless blade? You're getting prime rib meat. It's called a
Wow.
poor man's ribeye.
Okay.
So you're able to afford the ribeye, but on a different piece
What's
of
that, the
meat.
boneless, what is it called?
It's a boneless blade, or a chuck roast.
We're taking
Or chuck-
notes here on the back
I'm
corner.
literally putting it in
this
my
is a
grocery
back
list.
corner first,
So
actually.
you have
I've
to
never seen
specifically
him.
say, I want it from the small end.
We've got all these people in here expounding all this, like the mysteries of theology and prophecy, and like, what am I going to do with that? But this, dude, I'll pick this up later today.
And you're just eating a ribeye steak. It just,
There
without
we
the
go.
price attached to it.
No kidding.
I've had like I've been in one of those, like, man, I could go for a steak. So that's actually exactly what I was going to ask you, is like, not just what's the best, but like what's the best on a budget.
Yep.
You heard it here first, people.
Wow.
All the carnivores out there, just
Yeah.
excited. All the vegetarians stopped listening about 14 episodes ago, at least.
My favorite cut of meat is always the one that's got the discount price on it.
Yeah.
It's the tastiest.
You
to
can
me.
taste the savings.
I can,
Yeah.
man. I always go. It's always slightly discolored. I'm like, I'm going to eat it tonight.
Not once you cook it. Yeah. I am a big believer in like proper seasoning and cooking can make anything pretty good.
Yeah, man.
And I can't tell you how many times I've gone to like some, restaurant that's supposed to one extent or another specialize in steak and just gone, this is profoundly mediocre. And I paid a bunch of money for it because, again, it wasn't cooked very well. Like they didn't actually sear the outside, or it wasn't seasoned well. And I did once go to a steakhouse in Buffalo, New York. That was apparently one of the top 2 or 3 in the nation. And that was freaking incredible.
Yeah.
But I feel like steak at a restaurant is one of those, like, the very, very finest of the fine is worth it. And then there's like a massive line of like, I can do this at home better for cheaper.
Last year for XY, we had John Tyson in, so I was with him Thursday in Halifax, and we went to there's a steakhouse, like a high end one. I forget what it's called. Anyway, it was the best steak I've ever had. We got the ribeye, and it was as advertised.
Nice.
So it didn't disappoint. So,
That's good.
that said, I typically just buy the cheap stuff and then load it up with seasoning and barbecue sauce and
What's your go-to seasonings?
whatever's in the kitchen. But I've got a bunch of just randos in the cupboard. I'm pretty impartial as long as it's meat.
Just something on the.
Yeah.
What do you like to season with? You just a salt and
Salt
pepper.
and pepper,
guy? Just old
garlic.
school?
I will say though, if you do get a cheaper piece of steak and you want to marinate it, the 20-minute Magic Creations marinade is
Really?
so superior, and the taste is phenomenal. And it's just, you can slice like through butter.
Next time you're back, I feel like we're gonna have steaks.
There we go. That'll be the first time we have the back corner cooking show.
New segment.
I love seasoned salt, seasoning salt. That stuff it's just magic to me.
Yeah.
But mostly just that and pepper, maybe a little onion powder, garlic powder.
So I think we're kind of sweeping like an obligation to premium cut.
The idea that premium cuts are categorically better, or at least enough better that they're worth it.
Yeah.
All right.
I learned stuff here.
It's unanimous.
Today.
I think we laughed, we cried. It became part of us. We're all going to look back on this day and remember where we were when we learned. Well, let's talk about another one.
Keep or sweep.
Yeah, keep it or sweep it. So NASA has recently announced that not only will humanity be returning to the moon, but we'll be establishing a permanent human-inhabited base there. Meanwhile, Elon Musk's SpaceX and Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin are continuing to develop technologies for space exploration. It's undeniable that many more broadly beneficial advancements in technology over the years have originated from humanity pushing itself out into the stars, and many see space exploration as an important human endeavor and a positive outgrowth of our natural curiosity and desire for discovery. These folks would say space exploration should be a high priority. Others point out that the almost inconceivably high price tag of these endeavors and all the ways that money and the intellects whose work that money funds could be better put to use solving some of the major problems we have here on Earth. So what do you say? Space exploration, keep it or sweep it?
Well done. You got a take, Sarah?
I have always adored space exploration as a kid. I always wanted to be one of those people that could go down to Cape Canaveral and watch one of like the old time shuttles take off, like Discovery, Atlantis. But they don't make those shuttles anymore.
Would have been cool to watch Discovery take off. Wasn't that the one that blew up?
No, that's Challenger.
No, that was Challenger. I do remember that.
Dude,
I do remember that.
They gathered us all around in the cafeteria at the little Christian
You
school
saw it in
I
real
went to,
time?
I saw it real
and
time
said,
too.
hey, we're going to watch the launch of this thing.
Yep.
And so me and like 27 elementary school students, other
What
elementary,
a
were
day
just
to be a
sitting there,
teacher, eh?
and they were
Yeah.
just like, oh, okay.
Let's turn the channel now.
That didn't go well.
It's not supposed to do that, boys and girls. But so anyway, so what
No.
you were saying.
Oh yeah, no.
You're big on space
I've
exploration.
thoroughly loved it, but that's when you're a child and you think, oh my goodness, this is so big and so cool. But now later in my life, it's like there are bigger fish to fry than sending a man to a moon. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
maybe we could put our money towards other things, world hunger.
Yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah, I'm probably in the same boat. I do think, to your point in the intro, like I do think it has unlocked things, so there's a byproduct to it, but and could we have had those discoveries if we didn't, set that as a goal and then discover those things on the way? Like, I'm not sure, but that said, I think I do lean the same way as you, Sarah. It seems like a little bit of a distraction. We don't even know. We know more about the moon and a lot of not deep space, but a lot of space than we do the ocean.
Yeah.
So even just our resources, not even just talking like socioeconomics, like we don't even know how to use our own materials on this planet.
I'm always blown away by the people whose argument is like, someday we might have to leave this planet. And I'm like,
yeah, that seems.
wouldn't it be easier just to take care of this one than
Let's fix the car
Exactly.
instead of
Exactly.
buy a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just seems like such a weird, whatever you're saying would happen to this planet, it will still be the most inhabitable planet in our solar system.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think from a Christian standpoint, this gets a little nerdy, but I have wondered if throughout eternity we'll get to go terraform planets and, what? I mean,
Pretty sure that's what the Mormons believe.
no, they believe that, well, it's in part, yes, in part. But hey, all of Satan's best deceptions are just little tweaks on something that's actual.
Yeah.
And I have wondered, why would God make just this infinite expanse full of so much we don't know when we're going to have all the time?
Yeah.
And God's intent from the beginning, before the fall, was fill the earth, subdue it, the growth of humanity and His creation and the dominion of that creation. And who's to say that?
That's one of those things too, where you go to particularly when you're talking early Genesis, like 1 to 11, there's a lot of poetic and metaphorical, and how do you communicate this to the understanding of relatively primitive humans? So even when you talk about Earth, like, would that capture for them like all of creation, or like were they thinking in terms of that just means this planet? There's other planets. Like, how much knowledge of that did they have? Like, to say all the Earth, could that mean like all of creation, the universe, all of you know, yeah. No, it's interesting. Do you think deep space is real?
Do I even think the Earth is round?
No, I mean, we're all clear. It's definitely not around. No, I sometimes wonder, not like I seriously think, but I sometimes wonder, like, we send these probes out, right? And we have one that just left our solar system, got out past Pluto. And I sometimes wonder if, like, did God, like, is the universe actually infinite, or is there just like a wall there that just looks like it? You know what I mean? And like,
it's just
like that, whatever, like that. There's
it's like an old video game.
It's like a Truman Show.
It's like a very big planetarium.
Or it's like,
yeah.
Remember the old like Space Invaders game? Like if you went off one side,
you come back
on the other.
on the other. You wonder, God's just the Voyager's just been looping on a loop.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be curious. Like,
I think it is. I think that, what is it? The Fermi paradox, where basically like the math is that the next closest thing is impossibly far away.
Yeah.
Like I wonder if God just placed us inside of that, like to protect ourselves from ourselves.
Well, see, now that's the very thing where I wonder. I go like, okay, so you got our solar system, and then like 100 billion light years, and then is it just a projection or so? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not actually there. I don't know.
It's certainly not outside of the realm of possibility that God made this massive universe just to flex.
Yeah.
You know, like just, I can make something so big that it warps your mind, and it just makes we can't fathom 100,000 light years. Like that's beyond far. Like it just blurs at a certain point. So, and
I mean, it's infinite, right?
And how does an infinite God begin to explain to us infinitude?
Yeah.
By making things so big that we can quantify they're that big, but we really can't understand the bigness of it.
This is an interesting idea.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it's part of how whatever creation declares the glory of God, that an infinite universe would speak to whatever made this must be even more infinite.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
It certainly points to him.
So my take on the whole space exploration, moon bases thing, here's what I think is the value. I do think like there's definitely significant technological advantages that came from the space race that benefit us today on Earth. But I don't think the primary value was that it was space. Like people talk about the moonshot, right? Like we're going to throw everything we have at this issue, like this problem, all our best scientists, lots of money, all that to try to figure out how do we get to the moon. And that's how they figured all these things out. I don't think the value is in the space part. I think it's in the moonshot concept. So I don't wonder like if whatever, the United States, or I was going to say, or like, you know, like the NATO countries, but that's barely a thing anymore. Thanks, Trump. But like if some of the more affluent, well-educated, technologically advanced countries got together and just said like, all right, we're going to figure out how to eradicate a disease, or we're going to figure out some sort of cleaner energy source. You know what I mean? Like take some big seemingly impossible thing and pour the kind of focus and resources into it that they poured into going to the moon, so that you get that, like there's a push to innovate.
Yeah.
And it's not just a matter of, can you figure out in a relatively short timeline how to monetize this so that we can sell it? Like, I think you'd get the same value, but also there'd be less hungry people or less sick people or whatever. Just
thinking out loud here, and this might be something to put into our processing segment, but it does seem to me, at least as a Christian, there are shades of the space race and this idea of habitating, you know, the moon or Mars to save humanity. It's a little bit of a false gospel. Like it's a little Babelic, if you will. Like we're we're going to build a tower to reach the skies. Like that, there's some of that, like the salvation that God brought to humanity and the cosmos came by him going right into the earth, quite literally, going the other direction. And so I do think there's implications for Christians to be thinking like, and again, I'm all for exploration. Like, I'm glad they discovered America, right? Like, but there is something to be said about there is a little bit of a slippery slope, I think, on the, hey, yeah, this is how we're going to save humanity. No, what would save humanity is if hearts were changed and people were actually like Jesus and we got along properly and we stewarded the earth and our resources properly. That's going to save humanity.
I've never thought of that Babel comparison, but I really like, we're going to go up as high as we can.
Yeah, totally.
And that will be what solves our problems.
It's Babel. Yeah. It totally is. And
it's interesting.
Now I'm 60-40 on whether or not we went to the moon in the first place. I'm not totally sure. If I had to bet, I would bet we did. But man, some of that lunar hoax, they're spitting some food for thought. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I think if I was going to take a other than just, whatever, be nice to people thing, but like a spiritual take on this, I would say there's a way to view space exploration that is in a weird way sort of parallel to gluttony. Like, I think the essence of gluttony is not how much you weigh or even the quality of the food you eat. I mean, I think you should eat healthy if you can, but for lots of humanity, you just eat what's available, right? But I think the essence of it is when you are eating, consuming way more than you need to the detriment of someone else, right? Like when you look in Corinthians and Paul's calling them out on the big feast at the Lord's Supper, and it had become about filling their bellies, not celebrating the resurrection together. There's a sense of going like, okay, so I've got whatever, I'm Elon Musk, I'm Jeff Bezos, I'm the United States government, and I've got billions of dollars that I can deploy at something, and I'm going to satisfy my own curiosity or my own ego rather than literally like feed everyone who's hungry in the world or cure a handful of really serious diseases. Like,
or at best, like even if you argued that like Bezos or Musk, like they legitimately believe this is actually the best thing for humanity. Like they may. I mean,
theoretically, I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
I think they think it's the best thing for them.
Agree. Yeah.
And I think a lot of those guys have enough of an ego that they figure kind of whatever's, like I could see a Bezos going, look how I've changed the world. Like whatever's good for me just helps everyone. Yeah. That kind of thing. But
yeah, a bit of a messianic complex there. I think.
I think you have to have, again, like
Antichrist.
You have to have a certain amount of ego to position yourself to be the kind of guy those guys are, but also just being that person. Like I hear these stories about like these young celebrities and they just go nuts, like the Justin Bieber types. It's like,
what did you expect?
You can't handle that kind of success, that kind of adulation. Like if you, I mean, I'm 48, and if you gave me $1 billion today, I'd like to think I would mostly use it wisely, but that's after years of not having it. And I'd like to think a fairly close relationship with Jesus and being shaped and formed by his priorities. You take just your average.
13-year-old AJ probably is not ready for a billion.
And you take just a rando in their 30s who just thinks that business success is the point of life anyway. And then they get it.
Yeah, well, money's a multiplier, right? Like money just multiplies whatever the thing is it's associated with. So if you're a hot mess, you're a billionaire hot mess,
right? Yeah,
it's just going to multiply what you already are. I thought it was hilarious that they launched Artemis on April Fools. That is just poetic, and maybe a giant like. Maybe the Illuminati are laughing behind closed doors.
The Rothschilds and the Bilderberg.
These idiots think we're actually going to the moon. Let's do it on April 1st. Let's just dunk on them and they don't even know. I think that's awesome.
Turns out it's just a drone that they were filming from way closer than they said.
It's It's like like
a foot and a
like
half
how they did
long,
Star
actually.
Wars.
Yeah, totally.
Just like
It's
they
all
got these miniatures.
forced perspective. And
That's amazing. That's awesome.
We're getting into some deep stuff. So why don't we jump into our next segment? Yeah, which is processing or processing, depending on who you ask. So this is where we just take some time to talk about some of the things we're wrestling with, thinking through, things God is teaching us, ways he's leading us that aren't necessarily kind of fully formed, maybe still just a little bit half-baked stuff we're just still processing.
Well introed.
Thank you.
You want to kick us off?
Yeah, I've got a couple. Maybe I'll do one and then you guys can go, and if we got time, I'll throw in another one. But one of the things I've been wrestling with, I mean, I brought this up, I think a few times before, but just kind of, it's more of an update, I guess, on my wrestling with this whole idea of like, that what we are for is union with God. I'm teaching the King's Academy theology class right now, and we've been talking about the Trinity and the incarnation and the doctrines behind those. And this is kind of the thought that occurred to me recently, is that the Trinity shows that within divinity, there can still be distinct personhood. That to be in divinity does not eliminate personhood, or doesn't reduce that to one person. And then if you look at the incarnation, Jesus is fully God and fully man, completely united, fully inseparably united, and yet his humanity remains intact. So oneness with divinity does not eliminate personality, and it does not eliminate humanity. Which then leads me to the idea that humanity in Christ is completely united to divinity in a way that does not destroy it or eliminate it or remove it or blur it.
Or lessen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't remove it, right? It's not like what was human is now in the divine. The human does not become divine in that union. It maintains humanity, right? Mm-hmm. So the person of Christ is divine, but he has two natures. That's classic Council of Chalcedon, right? Which then makes, because I'm always wrestling with this, okay, when the Orthodox talk about theosis or divinization, or when we talk about this idea that the end goal of everything is union with God, usually the objection or the thought is, well, yeah, but that can only be so close because then we would be God. Mm. And if you take the Trinity and the incarnation together, you go, no, actually humanity can be completely united with divinity without becoming divine and without losing its personhood. So it's not that I would have to become God in terms of who I am, my person, and it's not that I would have to become divine in terms of my nature. I could be a distinct human person fully united with divinity, because we see examples of how that would work in the Trinity and in the incarnation. And so it's just kind of stretched my brain for like the depth of when Jesus prays, right? In John 17, I want them to be one with us like you and I are one, Father, right? Like that's all the way one. Mm-hmm. That's Trinitarian levels of oneness. Yeah. But then the thing is always, but then we wouldn't be divine. So there's still some break in the union there. There's got to be some distance. Yeah. But then you look at the incarnation, you go, no, it's one, like humanity and divinity in Christ. One of the things I talk about in the theology classes, that classic, like, and it's not a bad drawing for evangelism, but like you got the two kind of cliffs on either side and the cross is in the middle. To go, actually, Jesus is what's in the middle. Jesus is in his person. Like it's not Easter.
It's not the piece of wood.
Yeah, it's not Easter that unites humanity and divinity. It's Christmas. It's Easter that allows sinful humans,
right,
to then be part of the humanity in Christ that is connected to divinity.
Yeah.
But humanity as a concept and divinity come together in perfect union in the person of Christ.
Yep.
That's the incarnation, right? And so the idea, that it's not that God is over here and humanity is over here, and there's this chasm in the middle that's filled by the cross. It's actually that God is over here and humanity is over here, and in the incarnation, those come together, again, as categories, like as concepts. And so the issue is not, what the cross does is not so much connects me to God as it puts me in Christ.
Right.
from where I am now connected to God because divinity and humanity are perfectly united in Christ. So if I, as a human, am within Christ, I am now united with divinity.
Yeah.
Right? But anyways, that's what
have you read Daryl Johnson's book on the Trinity?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, like it starts off
literally sitting next to my chair to read.
It's incredible.
It's been about a year.
He just says, at the center of the universe there is a relationship, and you have been invited in, right? And I think that is important, like what you're talking about, that we're not getting some like training wheels version of that relationship. Like we're fully welcomed in. Yeah. And I think that you referenced, is it kenosis? When you were just talking about,
I didn't say the word, but
just the idea of the self-emptying love of God.
Well,
and
I
talked
about the incarnation,
that's
but yeah,
part of his divine, like that's actually what it means to be God. Like that's what he's like. I think that actually builds the groundwork for, because we get tripped up thinking, okay, if I'm welcomed in, am I equal to God? Yeah. No, you're not divine, but like you're thinking about it in an upside down version of what is the hierarchy of who God's revealed himself to be. It's like God is the most God, which means no one's going to go lower than him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like we, just by the nature of what God is like, he's not threatened by inviting us in, right? Like I think we have a hard time thinking, because we think about it like human kind of, vertical hierarchy sort of standards that, okay, does that mean I've ascended into the divine? Well, I think first and foremost, we've learned that this God actually is a God whose glory is expressed through descending.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so,
well, that's we tend to have that kind of Western post-Enlightenment individualistic idea too, that we think whatever is happening, and there is an individual aspect to salvation, but whatever is happening has to happen a billion times, right? But to go like, no, humanity for God, I mean, he sees us as individuals, but he also sees us as a group. Like his people in the Old Testament were not like there was Steve and Larry and Judy and Mike. Like it was the people of Israel. It was a group, right? And so that idea that the ultimate union of humanity and divinity is not a thing for the end of time. It's a thing that already happened in the incarnation. And so the question is not, how do I get connected? How does humanity get connected to the divine? But how do I become part of the humanity?
Yes,
that is connected to the divine, right?
Yeah, and then that's where sanctification and transformation starts to come in too, where it's like then that becomes the process through which I'm actually getting more connected. And what's the word, like shoot, the word's escaping me. Compatible. I'm getting more compatible. Yeah. Like when God transforms us into his likeness, he's creating us a compatibility to go deeper into that relationship.
And that's, I think, like to me, the whole, like that growth in holiness becomes so much more inspiring when it's less about a standard I have to reach in order to receive approval, or a standard I have to reach just because that's the goal God has set. But it's literally like, it's what allows me to move deeper. Right. That like
deeper into that relationship at the center of the universe.
If you think of it almost like the Old Testament temple, right? Like it's not just a question of like, you need to be this, but it's like, if I want to move from the court of the Gentiles into the court of the Jews, into the holy place, into the holy of holies,
have to become these things.
I have to leave out there the things that cannot stand in here.
Yes.
Right. And so it's, holiness is a question, again, not of approval, but of intimacy.
Yeah.
And so, I just think that's,
and compatibility.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Likeness.
Yeah. Like it can't, that stuff that is unlike God cannot stand in his presence. And so he is forming me to be the kind of person who can be that close to him.
Yeah. And I mean, it's the same in human relationships. Like Melanie and I, the more alike we are and the more aligned we get, the more intimate our relationship gets.
Yeah.
Like you get closer through becoming more like one another, like being aligned. Yeah, that's huge. That reminds me of that quote Kevin Myers says, God, like if you want God saying, if you want more of me, you have to be more like me.
Yes.
Right? Like you just don't fit in this relationship.
One of my theological mentors will often talk about God's self-giving. And at the end of the day, holiness and sin are questions of when we receive or reject that self-giving, which kind of your whole descending thing, right? Like, it's not that we have to ascend to him, it's that he's going, here's more of me. And so, you know, in what we would call in Wesleyan circles, the means of grace, through obedience and all those things, like God is inviting us to receive more of him, and we get to accept that or reject that. And in sin, we reject it, right?
Yeah.
And
That's huge.
Shout out to my buddy Patrick, who is one of the dozens who sent me, I can't remember who the guy is, but this theologian who talks about, sort of related to this, that if God is the only thing in the universe that is self-existent, like he just exists because he exists, everything else exists because he caused it to exist, then existence is ultimately a quality of God. And so anything else that exists by virtue of its participation with God.
Yeah.
And so the more we are participating with God, the more we are in God, the more we are united to God, we are actually becoming more real.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of one of my favorite books of all time, The Great Divorce by
C.S. Lewis.
Staples Lewis. Yeah.
There we go.
And like the whole picture is like, as the protagonist is getting closer to like the holiness of heaven, he's becoming more substantive. Like when he first gets on the outskirts of heaven. Oh, dude, if you never read that, it's like a 3-hour read. It is. I read it annually.
So 6.
Audiobook 1.5.
All right, there we go.
And it's a great audiobook too for people who don't want to sit down.
Nice.
It's a great lawnmower book. And
I don't mow my lawn,
like,
so I'll have to find
he
something
basically
else.
the protagonist is on this journey from basically hell, or what is purgatory at the time, toward heaven. And when he first gets to the outskirts of heaven, like they all get off this bus and they find that they can see through themselves and their shadows.
Oh, wow.
And then like they're trying to walk on the grass, and the blades of grass are causing like immense pain on their feet. And so the guide says the famous quote, well, yeah, reality is harsh to the feet of shadows.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh yeah. But the further, the deeper he goes into like the outskirts of heaven, the more he's like acclimatized to it, and he becomes able to not just survive, but enjoy.
Wow.
You know,
That's
like
cool,
the beauty of it. It's phenomenal. Like, yeah.
So for me, like
That's
that idea of moving, you know, we're going to be with God, we're going to be close to God, we're going to be his presence, which is the language, the tradition I grew up in would tend to use. Like, that's great. But just to kind of go like, oh, like there's union itself is actually like, there's proof of concept already for that in some of these most foundational doctrines we have. And so
what a better invitation, like, than go be good so God will accept you, you know, like just this idea that God, who is the source and author of life and who has perfect communion and peace within that Trinitarian relationship, is inviting me into that.
Be consumed with accepting, cooperating with his transformative work in your life.
Yeah.
So that you can enter more deeply into him.
Yeah. I know.
So that's what I'm processing. What are you processing?
I feel like we're all like,
what do you guys
sort of slow? Yeah. What are you working through, Sarah? How about meat?
No, I
I'm really
actually
thinking about ribeyes, and
I actually officially hung up the meat knives today.
Oh, really?
I went into Superstore and I kindly said I will not be returning in May because I have another job for the summer. So
Hey.
I'm officially retired.
there you go.
But still walking away with skills and knowledge for days. about
Exactly.
cuts.
Bring me all the primals from Costco and I will chop them up for you.
Would you chop up a deer?
I would love to learn how to do that.
Okay.
That is one skill that I would like to learn.
next fall.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm down for it. School has been so opening of the eyes. There is one class that we're taking right now, spiritual formation, and I'm sure you guys have fond memories of it. And we're in a book right now called Celebration of Discipline by Richard Foster.
Oh, yeah.
And let me tell you, God has done some work in me through that book. The things he has changed my scope. He has spoken to me several times through that book, which is completely enamoring for me because that's not something I'm used to hearing and realizing. But it's remarkable. So it's just walking through all of the disciplines, the corporate, the inward, you know, the whole thing. It's a brilliant book. I encourage everybody to read it. But just sitting in and listening to your professor talk to you through this, and knowing what you know and what you've been raised on and what you've been told, but then not necessarily being told you're wrong, but yet maybe look at it this way. Look at what the Bible actually says about this discipline, or what, things like that. I've changed.
Well, and back to what AJ was talking about, those two things are connected, right?
Yeah.
Like the disciplines are tools and practices that God's actually graced us with.
To bring us closer to Him.
That's His self-giving, right?
Oh yeah, and
He's trying to give Himself to us.
It's remarkable.
That book is it's cool. I always love hearing, like, we're close to the same age, and I try to think about, man, I'd be so much more ready for those classes if I did it now than I did it when I was 20.
Well, we just went through the whole chapter on worship, and he was like, okay, so what are the stances that you take when you worship? Well, you close your eyes, you bow your head, you sometimes fold your hands. But he's like, what does the Bible tell you? The Bible, and he went through several verses of like, Jesus was looking to the sky with his hands up. Like that's how you pray. Yeah. And so it was just kind of interesting to see what the Bible says as opposed to what we were taught per se, and how it just completely...
I'm preaching on the kind of the postures of worship here in a couple weeks, so I've been thinking about that some too. Yeah, there's a lot of implications there of what it should look like. That's awesome. And just for the dozens, this is it would behoove you.
Yeah.
Richard Foster's Celebration and Discipline.
It is legitimately a classic.
It is.
Yeah,
as opposed to just like an old one that a lot of people have read, but it really is
it's a book you will want in your library.
Yeah.
I bought it and I'm glad I did.
And that's a gateway drug to Dallas Willard. So Dallas Willard will
Richard Foster is the weed to Dallas Willard's heroin. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah. What am I processing? Well, it's just fresh today because I've been working on it. So prepping a small message for our Good Friday service, which will have happened a week and a half ago, as is the time of this is going. But I'm preaching it tomorrow. And just been really sitting, like, thinking about the cross from the cost of it, and thinking of just the weight of value that was expressed through Jesus being crucified, and just thinking through different versions of like what that cost. Again, the Godhead. Obviously there's the physical, embodied component that Jesus endured a horrific, like, physiological torture where he was asphyxiated, and that carries its own weight, and should, but it goes a lot deeper than that. And I think the real trauma and, like, what's the word? Like the real cost of the cross is beyond even what he had to endure physiologically. There you do get into the sociological component where just him enduring shame and scorn, I've been just sitting thinking, like, like they stripped him naked, they spat on him, they hurled insults at him, and then, like, that's just the crowd. And then you have the betrayals and the abandonment from the people that he'd given 3 years of his life directly to. They bailed. Those costs, and then I got thinking a little more, what's the word, like, transcendently, maybe out of the embodied and relational component into, the cost of the cross is that Jesus quite literally endured hell. You talk about the perfect relationship at the center of the universe just a minute ago. Like, the cross, the moment Jesus hung on the cross, like, I don't know what hell's going to be like. Is it fire and brimstone? Is it darkness? Is it annihilation? I don't know. We've talked about some of that stuff on the pod before. I do know that the maximum, the volume of hell has ever and will ever be turned up is in the moment he was on the cross. Like, that's the darkest moment, like in space and time. Like, that is the darkest moment. And it's because, like, speaking back to that infinite perfect union of God the Father and God the Son and the Holy Spirit, that was the one moment that was broken. Like, so, like, Jesus would never have known what it's like to not be in perfect communion with God the Father. And it's just like, it puts that whole, like him quoting Psalm 22, like, my God, why have you forsaken me? Like, just like that. That's hell.
Yeah. I mean, that is literally, some people would say, like, what's the basic definition of hell?
It is
It's complete separation.
It's separation from God. And he endured that. And I don't think we can begin to imagine, like, because we can't wrap our heads around
We have never been eternally perfectly united with anyone.
The depth of the union. Like, we just can't wrap our heads around that. And for that to be torn away in that moment for us is like...
So to call back to what we started with, so that someday we could experience
it's just it's too much.
Union.
Like, it's so much. So I've just been thinking about the cost of the cross is my my alliteration. So
there's a whole theological discussion to have about, like, was Jesus actually, like, can you actually be separated from whatever? But certainly he's experiencing separation, right?
Yeah.
You read, I assume you have the rest of that psalm.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's brutally painful what he's saying there, but it's also a little bit baller.
Oh yeah.
Because that psalm ends with, like, victory, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so you can kind of see Jesus going, like,
it points to Sunday.
well, yeah, it's like he's going, like, I am in the crap end
Yeah.
of this psalm right now.
Yeah.
But also,
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah. So that's what I'm processing.
That's heavy stuff, man.
It is heavy stuff.
Very seasonally appropriate.
Yeah, for sure. Good. Yeah, I'm preparing a message on the wise men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been working on a whole thing about spiritual gifts.
Yeah.
I got one more I'll throw in quick here, just because it sort of relates to that idea of, like, Christ who suffers, which is sounds like a very egotistical way to set up what I'm about to talk about. But one of the things that's a regular part of my prayer practice is to ask God to fix a whole bunch of broken stuff in my life, and particularly in my body. I got back issues and elbow issues and whatever else. And as I've mentioned before, I've had this ongoing struggle with mental illness to various extents for years and years now. And comes up on occasion in my preaching or when I'm sharing at CR or whatever else. And I'm always amazed at the number of people who reach out to me after that and just, like, whatever, thank me, found it helpful, found it encouraging, gives them a, sense that they can make it too or whatever else. And I was praying about, like, I always asking God, like, if you would take this away from me, that would be awesome. A little bit of the, thorn in my flesh thing. But recently when I was praying about that, I just had this sense of the Lord going, like, your suffering in this area benefits other people. Like, that this is not pointless suffering. This is not meaningless suffering. That, like, you carrying this actually lightens the load for a bunch of other people in some way. And it just kind of, I don't know, it's one of those, what's the dude that was in Auschwitz or whatever, like, people can survive any what if they have a why or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Man's Search for Meaning. Viktor Frankl.
There we go. I was going to say Finkel, but that's the guy from Ace Ventura. Finkel and Einhorn. Anyway.
Not as brilliant.
No. But yeah, just, I guess that's the other thing I've been processing, just to go, like, oh, are there times where, I mean, in general, the idea that, like, sometimes God lets us suffer what he lets us suffer because of the way it'll be a benefit to other people. And I mean, I have, like so many of our prayers, we don't really think them through first, but, I've prayed many, like, Lord, if there's any way I can help other people, bless other people, I was assuming it would just be something I said or whatever, but yeah,
Wow.
it's kind of made me go, oh, like, hey, it gives a reason for why God's left this in my life in terms of connecting to him, but also a purpose maybe for why it's there. And if he showed up tomorrow and said, you want to keep it or be done with it, I'd still pick be done with it. But it does, it was kind of just a profound, like, moment of insight into, oh, there's a reason, which it kind of not lost on me as I sit here too, that was within a week or so of me preaching about the resurrection of Lazarus and how like sometimes God lets things die so that he can show up and reveal himself. And so kind of him going, no, like there's a reason for this suffering. So
where's Paul say, like that we suffer so that basically for the benefit of others.
We comfort others with the comfort that we were comforted with. Yeah.
And I mean, it shouldn't be surprising to us that we follow the one who just did exactly that.
Totally. Like
right?
that's what, when I say like the connection to what you were sharing is to go like, yeah, it's almost as if Jesus has gone like, we often talk about taking up your cross and following Jesus. And I think we sometimes, I mean, there's lots of ways to interpret that, but that idea of like experiencing the suffering of the human fallen condition in a way that mostly only sucks for you, but somehow benefits other people. Wouldn't be a bad definition of that. So.
One of the other costs of the cross I'm gonna highlight in that is just, it struck me the part where Jesus is in Gethsemane actually asking, "Can we just not do this?"
Yes.
And like
that gets me every time.
And like again, just was this the first time in his existence where it's probably not the right way to say it, he doesn't get his own way, but where like his will and the Father's will are at odds.
Yeah.
And he has to yield to it. And like, I don't like this.
So he learned obedience through what he suffered, right? Like,
Yeah.
which people go like, how could Jesus have to learn something? But you're like, how
to
would you,
experience it.
if you're the eternal God of the universe, who did you ever have to obey?
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Right?
What he says goes.
Like his, it's one of those like,
Well, he said like, let there be light.
and there was like,
So
like if you can just tell the weather to change and it does, if your buddy dies and you can just be like, nah, I'm not okay with that. And he just comes back. Yeah. Well, speaking of following Jesus, we're so excited to have you with us here today, Sarah. And I do want to give a heads up to those listening that some of the conversation we're about to have will include some topics that, like, if you got a teenager listening, that's probably cool. But if you've got like an 8-year-old, you're on a drive in the car doing a Costco run or whatever, you might want to just wait and listen to this sometime when you got your headphones on. We're going to get into some stuff around sex and sexuality and some of those types of things. So I just want to give you a heads up on that, lest you be caught off guard. I mean, if you're letting your young kids listen to the Back Corner in general, you're probably somewhat relaxed because it gets a little weird, but I feel
What's
like I do.
Nephilim?
We didn't go to the moon, Mommy. Pastor Brent says the earth is flat. And just picture some kid in, third grade geography or whatever. And it's like, my pastor said the earth is a disc spinning over a giant, flaming dragon.
And that there's a firmament and an ice wall.
Well, if that's true, Johnny, then how did they go to the moon? They didn't go to the moon. It was demons that fooled everyone, working with the Illuminati. That's what they say at my church.
Ask my pastor.
I love it. He probably won't respect you, though, because you didn't kill your lunch.
Oh, man.
You're one of those chumps who buys a filet mignon. So Sarah, maybe you could just start out by telling us.
What a segue.
Yeah.
What a segue.
It's a good time. You could start out maybe just telling us kind of the quick overview of the story of kind of how you came to faith in Jesus and how that kind of changed you and your life.
So in 1980, no, I'm just joking.
Going way back.
I was born at a very early age.
Honestly, like, Mom says that I came to Christ at Caton's Island at the age of 7. But when you're 7, I don't think you can really grasp the height of what you're really signing up with.
Sure.
So I believe that I did accept Christ, and I believe that I was, established in the faith. I was raised in the church. But of course, as I got older, life and the world kind of took precedent a little bit, and I started falling away from going to church. I was a part of youth group, choir. I did all the things when I was younger. But as I got into the high school years, I felt that there was something different about me, that I was like, I started questioning and just realizing things were not exactly the way the world said they should be in my own head. So when I left high school, I basically said, you know what, I'm going to live my life the way I want to and the way that I feel I should. And I turned down the gay lifestyle. And
You turned towards it, you mean?
I turned towards it.
Yeah.
I turned down
that path.
I turned down it. I didn't turn it down. I went towards it.
Got you.
I did later turn it down.
Yeah, we'll get
took
to
that
that. We'll get to that.
But I mean, I remember even very early on at the ages of like 9 and 10, realizing I felt different things, but I just couldn't put a word to it. And it wasn't until probably my first or second year of college, actually, that it was like, whoa, this is what this is. And, you know, lived a lot of my adult life in that lifestyle. But it wasn't until the glorious thing of COVID and my grandmother that things took a real good kick in the pants. And that was like a life-changing moment.
So what happened there? So you'd spent, I guess you're saying
almost 15, 20 years in that lifestyle.
In same-sex relationships.
Yep. And I always am so thankful to God that I always had the conviction that I knew it was wrong. I always knew it was wrong. And I was like, but no, like if he made me this way, then that's okay. Like I've got to try to figure this. But there was always that voice in my head going, no.
Do you think there's a lot of, especially people who maybe are Christians or were Christians or grew up with Christian morality? Do you think that there's a lot of people that are in that boat where you build up this kind of armor to sort of put away that still small voice a little bit to maybe allow yourself the freedom to live that lifestyle? Is that pretty common, do you think?
It is. There's a lot of people I know in my life right now, even like a lot of friends from my old church that do still live that lifestyle, but yet they're still very active in the church. They're still, you know, professing Christian faith. And it's always been in the back of my mind, like, how does that work? Like if you've got God writing in his Bible, like the book saying, this is wrong. I'm not condoning this. This isn't what you should be doing. Like marriage is for a man and a woman, not a woman and a woman, a man and a man. Like this is not right. Where are they reading that it's justifiable that I'm not?
I mean, and you have to do major textual gymnastics.
Oh yeah.
Hold your Bible sideways and squint.
You
kind
really,
of a thing.
it's just pretty much impossible to take it seriously and draw that another conclusion.
So what was it that kind of got your attention and kind of snapped you out of that?
The grandma in 2020.
Oh,
So what happened?
I still say to this day, my grandmother and Jesus were in cahoots.
I'm sure they were.
I'm
a
like,
lot of us have.
Common story.
Grandmothers are good for that one thing.
They sure are.
It was 2020. The borders had just closed. Like there was no travel between provinces. There was no travel. So
nice.
even
I forgot
me
about
living
that.
in Nova Scotia, there was no way I could go to New Brunswick even if I wanted to. And I had got out of a relationship probably about a year and a half prior, and I was like PTSD. Like I was on the verge of just breaking down. And Mom called me and said, just want to give you a heads up. Grammy is potentially on her way to go home to heaven. And I'm like, I'm in Nova Scotia. I can't go see her. This woman is like the patriarch or matriarch, I suppose, is of our family. Like she is everything to us. And I'm not going to be able to see her in this life, nor am I going to be able to see her in the next life if I don't change the way I'm living right now. Wow. And I was like, I need to see my grandmother again. So July 13th, 2020, I went out on my deck that night and I said, that's it, Jesus, I'm done. Like I've been told you can save my life, so save it. I don't want this anymore. The pain, the stress, the PTSD, the depression. I'm like, I want it all to be gone. Like, save me, please. Wow. And I went to bed that night and I woke up with a smile on my face.
Really?
It was like the most amazing, peaceful feeling that I have ever felt in my life. And realizing that my grandmother still potentially could die, I was like, it's okay. I'm going to see her again. Like, I'm going to see her again. That's okay. Wow. I'm cool. We're good. I did get to go home and see her before she did pass. And she was very ecstatic and very happy that I had come back to the Lord. And she got to see my baptism too at Rainbow Haven Beach, which was, that's a full circle moment all in itself, my baptism. But yeah, it's, and yeah, it's crazy.
So
shout out to grandmas.
I know, mine is the best.
So how did you process, like, you said you'd kind of just always known kind of what God actually expected in that area of sexuality. So like, how do you this has been your world though, right? For over 15 years. How do you kind of unentwine yourself from that? How did your friends in that community handle it? Like what's that journey look like of kind of, because again, you're not just leaving an activity, you're leaving a world, a community, a whatever, right? Yeah.
What's funny is that I didn't really have a whole lot of friends in that community. So when I did walk away from it, it was kind of 3 or 4 relationships that just kind of ceased to exist. I didn't really acknowledge it because honestly, yes, I probably could still have played a pivotal role in their life of being like, hey, yes, I've changed, you know, but it felt like I needed to just separate, just walk away and separate from it. But yeah, it was just kind of cease and desist.
Just drop it.
Drop it. Yeah. And God like literally freed me 150,000% from it. Like there's no urges, there's no temptations, there's no, it's gone and done.
And that's not necessarily the way it happens for everybody.
No,
right?
it is.
Like,
it is not.
It's like the minute you say, okay, Lord, take this away. Like sometimes, you know, like I think that's one of the challenges of, you know, I think that the people with same-sex attraction that are trying to live a Christian life that's honoring to the Word of God, I think one of the big challenges is the sacrifice of signing up to fight against legitimate like desires that are so deeply part of them. And so I think there's a lot of people that don't get that experience where they're able to sort of like the Lord just sort of delivers them maybe from that. So do you have any friends or people that you know that maybe are also, you know, repentant and trying to live a life in pursuit of Jesus, but maybe like they feel the struggle more? I
do have a few friends actually that are currently involved in that struggle. And I do remember something one of my pastors at Deepwater said to me when I first came back to the church. And she said, there are going to be those moments where you do feel the temptation, you do feel the attraction, but you can have the attraction, but just don't do the action. Yeah. It's perfectly normal to feel the, you know what, you're pretty or you're handsome or, you know, have those thoughts and everything, but it's the acting on it. Yeah. It's the following through and doing those things and acting on those lusts and those temptations that is the sinful part of it. Yeah. And that certainly in some ways levels the playing field in that every human being has you know, unholy attractions, right? Like that we just in fidelity to Christ, like I have one woman that I'm able to look at that way. Right. And then the rest is like, okay, I crucify that part of myself. I think the hardest part in this conversation, I've over the years, I take issue with something AJ said on Sunday about him preaching all the hard sermons.
Just since I got here.
That's just not a fact. There's a reason. Yeah.
I'm not saying you never have.
But and there was a time, you know, maybe 7 or 8 years ago where talking about human sexuality was pretty explosive, you know, especially from the pulpit. And so like it was very much a handle with extreme care on both sides of it, in that like I didn't want to inflame maybe that's not the right word here. I didn't want to like stir up in maybe the side of the church that don't struggle with SSA and like are just like, well, just don't do it, you know, and like, yeah, you tell him, Pastor. I didn't want to like stir that up, so I wanted to be cautious there, but I also didn't want to excuse. So I want to have compassion, and so it's a very challenging and was a lot more challenging. I find people are more able to have honest, nuanced conversations these days, so I don't find it quite as terrifying. But it's interesting, like I preached several times on the topic over the last maybe decade. And the first time I did it, I look back at that sermon, I feel like I did a pretty good job. But at the end, I focused in on like, basically this is painfully going to be your cross to bear, like, or a cross that God has asked you to bear. And that is true. But in the moment, I was just deeply moved And I cried pretty good into the microphone I just really was feeling like the cost of that. Because like your sexuality is one of the most deepest parts of you. It's not who you are, but it's a deep, powerful thing. And I kind of left that sermon. I came back around maybe 5 years later and did another round of it, kind of a refreshed version. And the Lord really confronted me on something when I was preparing the second time around. And he brought me back to how I was feeling in that moment, like just really highlighting the reality that this is a cross that you have to bear. And I don't know why God chose you to deal with that. And I don't have to. Like, I still get to express my sexuality, like in a heterosexual monogamous marriage. And that doesn't seem fair to me. And that's kind of where I left that first sermon off. And then when I came back around and did it again, God really confronted me on that. And he said, like, I didn't feel like rebuked, but I felt him tweaking my perspective a little bit, where I felt him say, you know, like, you were rightly identifying the weight of the cost there, but what you missed is you left it with the assumption that there's just no way I can't give them something better. Like that I can't satisfy them in the loss of that I'm somehow not able to return to them something better. And I think that's the thing that maybe gets missed at times in these conversations is, yeah, this is going to be sacrificial for you, but here's the good news about Jesus and God, the God that we serve. Is like, he promised, like, take up your cross and follow me, and then receive the life that you can't obtain for yourself in the first place. That's a long diatribe, but like, to sort of flip around, how have you seen like the faithfulness of God since you made that decision of like, just like drawing a line in the sand, say, like, that was a real death to self moment, right? Where it's like, I give up, you know, I'm signing up with you. How have you seen the faithfulness of God? How has that brought flourishing into your life? Has it all been lost, or where are the gains in this?
No, I will say though, in regards to like relationships, I know Paul says in the Bible, he says, listen, like you were preaching one Sunday, yes, you can be married, but it's even better to be single.
Right.
And I have always felt that I was meant to have a life of singleness, because I didn't have those, I didn't want a boyfriend in school. I didn't, want to be in some flourishing relationship. Even when I got older, it wasn't until I was really in my 20s that I was like, everyone's asking me if I got a boyfriend yet. Everyone's asking me when I'm going to get married. Everyone's asking me all these things. Like, am I doing something wrong because I'm not actively seeking a relationship? Right. But then I was like, but I don't like boys. Like, I just, so maybe, I didn't like any, I just didn't feel I needed to be in a relationship. So I wasn't actively seeking anybody. But then I was like, well, maybe I just try this or something, I just think the world needs to just realize that you don't need to be with somebody to make yourself. You don't need to be with somebody to just soothe everybody else's questions. So it was just kind of like, I was looking for the trust, the honesty, the love, the patience. I was looking for everything of that in people. And when I came back to Jesus, he gave me every single one of those things and more. Wow. So the trust that we all look for, the honesty, the love,
being known,
just being loved, like no matter what I do, it's just, I've got you. I love you. There's nothing you can do to me or say to me that is going to make me love you any less. How would you not want that as your ride or die? You know what I mean? Like,
it's interesting to hear you say that. And like, then when you were telling us your backstory a little bit, and just like the PTSD and the trauma and the drama that you went through when you were giving yourself to that lifestyle, I think that's the big deception of the enemy, is like, follow your heart, give yourself to your desires, and it's going to work out best for you.
Wrong answer.
Yeah. I remember I had and again, it was a very difficult and weighty meeting. There was a person who came in as a transgender person who was biological male, living the life as a female. I met with them for hours. This would be probably 10 years ago now, and listened as, this person was, telling me, okay, I've basically, my kids have disowned me. I lost my job. and basically a lot of my friendships. My wife left me, and all my friendships that I had since I became true to myself have basically been strained or broken. And I just stopped them. Like look, in love, just objectively, this sounds like it's not really working out awesome for you. Like, is it worth it? It just, that struck me that day, just on like the deception of the enemy. And he does that to everybody. It's not just a thing that he does to people who are dealing with same-sex attraction, trying to stay true to themselves. Like, anytime we turn inward, it actually reaps destruction, right? What Paul says in Galatians, like, whoever sows to the flesh will reap destruction. And you just see it over and over. And I hear that in your testimony. Like, what was maybe some of the, not to focus on the backstory, but maybe some of the stuff that the average person from the outside looking in wouldn't understand about the difficulties that you were going through all that?
I think just wanting to be loved and accepted. Like, I sit back on the outside now and look at the lengths that the LGBT community are going to be seen and known and respected. And I'm just like, and they have such a negative connotation towards Christians who go to them and say, you know, for lack of a better term, what you're doing is wrong. And they're like, oh, well, you don't love us then. And I'm like, no, right. It's not that we don't love you. We love you enough to tell you that there is something better for you.
This is bad for you.
This is not what you were created for. This is not how you will find fulfillment in life. Yes, I understand you think that's, you know, the way that you were born, like, oh, I'm born this way. But Jesus is asking you to be born again. Yeah. Like,
that's so huge. Yeah.
Like, there is better.
Yeah.
I think, sort of circling back to what you talked about, Sarah, about singleness, and what you were talking about, Brent, with like what we're asking of people, or what the Lord is asking of people when it comes to this stuff. I do think one of the ways that the church has done a disservice to lots of people, including, you know, folks who wrestle with same-sex attraction, is we have held up marriage as such a high value that we've subtly bought into the cultural narrative that sexual gratification is necessary for a happy, flourishing life, right? And I think recapturing a biblical view of singleness, you're going like, yeah, you're called to the same life Paul was.
Yeah.
Like, you're called to the same life Jesus was.
Yeah.
Like, this is not, you know, we're not saying that you have to have your leg eaten off by sharks every day or whatever. Like, this is, you know, it's not we're not saying you can't eat or sleep. You know what I mean? Like, it's not on that level. And while I do acknowledge, you know, being married is great. That idea that, like, somehow, there's no option for a full or rich or fulfilling or God honoring or meaningful or whatever life outside of marriage. And to be honest, really, at the end of the day, it's outside of sex within the context of marriage, because that's one of the other things that people, like, you know, you're condemning these people to a life of loneliness. It's like, no one's saying you can't have friends. You know what I mean? Like,
or deep, meaningful relationships.
That's what I'm saying. Like, make a buddy. Like, have some. Like, you can. Like, the only thing that married people can do that the Bible says unmarried people can't do is have sex, right? And to something you were saying earlier too, Brent, that I always get a kick out of too, is like the notion that married people automatically have all of their most base, instinctive, knee-jerk, whatever you want to call it, sexual needs met all the time. It's like, dude,
you have been married.
You ever had kids? You don't even get everything you want from your missus.
Yeah.
Let alone, you know, like, again, like, that's just the reality of it. Like,
it's the young guy with a porn addiction that thinks I'm going to get married and that's going to go away.
Totally.
It's like, no, it's a different bucket, man.
And even take that out of the equation, like the notion that, like, whatever, I'll get married and then I'll never ever notice that another woman is attractive. No, it's not how it happens, dude. Like, or you know, like, if it worked like that, you'd never hear about people having an affair, right? Because they just be like, no, I'm married, so that just covers. Like, I've never even had a desire for anything outside of that. It's like, no, dude, that's not. You know, I had a buddy of mine when we lived in Halifax, and we were one of the other kind of key leaders in our church, and we were talking about how when it comes to this kind of more affirming theology, a lot of times we found that the women struggled with that a lot more than the guys. That women, out of some sort of, I'd say, false sense of compassion, feel like, well, we've got to figure out some way to be all accepting and tolerant and whatever else. And the guys didn't. And we kind of were talking about this, and the conclusion we arrived at, this is stereotypes and broad generalizations, but that like a lot of these women just had no idea what it was like to live with a long sexual no-fly list. Right. You know what I mean? It's like, whatever, like, okay, like guys are like, yeah, like there's tons of people I can't have sex with that it has occurred to me it'd be fun to have sex with. Like that's just a part of everyday life, right? So I'd be like,
that's called manning.
Well, that's what I feel like. I was like, I'm only allowed to have sex with one more person than you are, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not like, you know, we're out here just anyone we see that we're like, I can enjoy that. Like, yeah, I think that the notion that, I guess what I'm trying to say with all that is the notion that to follow what God calls people who are same-sex attracted to is to have no fulfillment in their lives at all because they don't have sexual fulfillment, contrasted with the notion that married people have I'm not saying you can't have a fulfilling sex life within marriage. I'm saying that every instinct-based desire, temptation you face, like that's just no, you get all that. Like you just check off the list constantly. Like, no, dude, everyone's called to a high level of restraint. That's why we have this thing called chastity, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, anyways, I think that if we could help people understand that singleness is a thing, and we could help people understand that everybody who follows Jesus is saying no to sexual desires and sexual instincts and sexual whatever that they have. It's just a question of exactly what that looks like.
Like compassion and empathy are huge kingdom things. Like these are things that like God is compassionate. That, you know, like I think, is there anything more empathetic than in the incarnation?
Yeah.
The devil still can weaponize those things.
Totally.
And I think he has. When you were talking there, it reminded me of 2 Timothy 3, where Paul's talking about, he says, I'll read it. He says, for people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God. So he's talking about just like the culture of humanity in the end times, which we're in, which that's not a whole, we've been in the end times since the resurrection, by the way. So don't get your flannel graphs and your blood moons out, right?
Third millennium.
Keep your blood moon theories away for now. Having the appearance of godliness, but denying its power. He says, avoid such people, for among them, so those people who are prone to that, among them are those who creep into households and capture weak or gullible women, burdened with sins and led astray by various passions, always learning and never able to arrive at a knowledge of the truth. It's not a part I've preached on from the pulpit, but I do think I find if you look culturally, the main slipstream of advocacy for that is primarily led by women, and then boosted by weak men or men who just want to be accepted by said women.
Yep.
And because it does go back to that, I think maybe biological temperamental reality of your average dude, you know, and I think your point's bang on.
I think, again, broadly speaking, there's massive exceptions to all this stuff, but broadly speaking, there are temperaments and dispositions that are far more common in women than they are in men, and vice versa. And those come with besetting sins.
Equal and opposite sins.
Right.
Yeah.
And so whereas, you know, pick whatever there are things that guys are certainly more.
Yeah. I was by no means trying to just say women are the problem.
No, but
nor was Paul.
I am saying that a natural, God honoring even predisposition to compassion or empathy that is not submitted to the word of God, and that is not even well formed in terms of understanding what people's best versus what people want, or that easily, frankly, falls for compelling arguments from emotion. I mean, it's Wesley's quadrilateral scripture, tradition, experience, and reason. There's reason and there's lots of experience on that. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back, but in all my years of pastoring, and we dealt with this issue constantly in Halifax because of the nature of the culture there, maybe certainly not any less so than anywhere else in Atlantic Canada.
Probably the most.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And it's one of those things like, I mean, it's a big city, so there's a large gay community, but also all the people from the little towns that, are less tolerant or whatever move there. And so, but like, I don't know that I ever had a guy come to me and say, like, I have historically held to a Christian, like a historic Christian sexual ethic, but I've heard a compelling argument and now I'm affirming, but multiple times with women.
Yeah. I have. There are.
I'm not saying it never happens, but I'm saying it's not. It's enough
typical.
of a common thing that I couldn't name it. I'm not saying it never does happen, but
I think femininity, and like the matriarchal or the motherly impulse taken to its extreme. It's like what's that psychological terms? The devouring mother, basically. That protect. Like God made women. Like to be moms, to be that protector, the provider, the nurturer, and that taken to an extreme wants to give the child whatever it wants. Yeah. And I think if you take the male impulse to its extreme, you get a tyrant, right? Who lacks that compassion and that empathy, and it's just this cold, rigid sort of, fall in line or fall out kind of thing. And I think we're again back to that complement component. Like that's why God designed these two things to actually work and balance together. And I think when one gets out of whack,
right? I mean, if the male, again, typical male instinct takes over, you break someone.
Yes. If
the typical female instinct, whatever, I'm saying it takes over, but is out of whack, is unsanctified, you spoil them.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
And they're in a mess either way. Right. So you either like break their spirit or you don't actually nurture them.
How does this all need to be playing out? Like this conversation about, Christians, same-sex attraction, the gay community. Like what's your observations like within the church and how maybe we get it wrong? What could be done differently? Like what the average Christian should know? Cause there's a lot of Christians that don't even have any like friends that are same-sex attracted, right? Like they're completely making assumptions in a vacuum, and so there's no relational thing. So like what are your thoughts maybe on your experience within the church and what you see related to your life, your testimony, and the people you know?
First off, I don't think it's preached on enough.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that it's like sin is sin to me. Doesn't matter whether it's homosexuality or it's, you lie on your taxes. Mm-hmm. So when pastors shy away from it
Wait, that's a sin?
Wait, you guys pay taxes?
So it's like when they shy away from it because they're scared to ruffle some feathers or, face the board or face the deacons or whatever,
It's face the flood of emails.
Yes.
It's like... get with the times.
Facebook comments.
This is a serious issue that is going on right now, and we are losing our kids right now to the fact that the world is telling them that this is all okay. You were born this way. You're allowed to do this. Like, people that are like letting doctors make the decisions for their kids and the parents are backing them up. They're not rooted, and it just... there's just so much that could be done and so much could be said, but there's just not enough.
We've alluded to this a couple times. I'm curious what your take is on, like, one of the big questions that comes up is where does, how would you word, like, where does same-sex attraction arise from? What makes people gay? Whatever. Like, are you born that way? That's one theory. Some people
sure it's a choice.
Will try. Some people will tie it back to like some sort of trauma or whatever. Some people will say it's almost like a cultural contagion thing, almost like a fad. Like, what's your take on that stuff?
Yeah, that's a great question.
It honestly, I think, could be a whole lot of little things.
That's it.
Like I myself, I identified as gay. I have a brother who is currently in the lifestyle. So that can, and I'm actually doing a paper right now in general psychology that is based on attachment styles, like anxious, avoidant, secure, and stuff like that. And you can look back at the relationships that you had with your parents, your mother, your father, specific caregivers in your life. And there are studies that have been done that shown if you had this specific relationship with your mom or your father, then the percentage of you turning into a homosexual lifestyle is very high or very low.
And that's not just saying like, there's abuse or sexual.
No.
Like that's just like if you have this type of dynamic with an otherwise healthy parent.
If you have an overbearing mother or an overbearing father, or you don't have a great relationship with your father, then you're going to somehow tend to swing a little bit towards the female side of things, or vice versa for the male. And then there is the possibility that genetics could be a lot in play too, because I know a lot of friends where their siblings, their aunts and uncles, their parents who, live those lifestyles. And so it could be a whole lot of things.
It's a lot of yes, isn't it?
Yeah,
like, it's
it
just
is.
like I don't think there's one easy answer. I think people are complex. We're a mixture of history and biology and experience and sociology, and all those things go into it for sure.
And I think some of that stuff too, like you get it's the whole like nature nurture debate, but how many times have you seen, say, two kids raised by the same families in the same environment, not the exact same genes, they're not clones, but pretty genetically similar. And let's say dad's an alcoholic, and one of them grows up to be a raging alcoholic and the other one is a hardcore teetotaler. Yeah. Like they've responded in very different ways with the same nature and the same nurture. So there is also just some wild card in there too, right? But yeah. So I'm sure, we probably may have some listeners who wrestle with same-sex attraction, but certainly we'd have lots of listeners who deal with one form or another of unwanted sexual desires, sexual temptations, that kind of thing. What advice would you have for people on that?
I think the biggest thing is recognize it and know that if it's something that you're struggling with, you need to find somebody that you can talk to about with it. Whether it be family, a really good friend, a coworker, someone that you trust to realize okay, I'm struggling with this. This is an issue. It's, we need to talk about this and address it. And if, you're a part of a church, go to your pastor, go to your, deacons or your clergy and just be like, hey, do you have a minute? Because I know I would be willing to hear anybody come to me and say, hey, I'm struggling with this. Like, how can you help? Or what do I do? And I'm sure they are all too. So don't be afraid to ask the question. It's not
related to that. If you, let's say you go to YouTube and Google Christian view on homosexuality, pretty easy to find a bunch of raging, angry, you're all going to burn people. Also very easy to find people who are not a problem. We should put rainbows everywhere. So are there specific, authors, podcasters, whatever that you would go, if you're wanting to do either as someone who is same-sex attracted or just someone who wants to be more intelligently informed on a biblical take on this, are there people you would go, this is someone you should read or listen to, or whose YouTube channel you should check out, or whatever kind of people or resources you would point people to? 3
words: Jackie Hill Perry.
That's a good one.
She is phenomenal. She is someone who lived the lifestyle too, and she was freed from it. And her and her husband have, I think, 4 kids now. She is just immersed in loving Jesus and loves him wholeheartedly. There is another, I can't think of the names of them, but there is a couple on YouTube right now. She was a transgendered female to male, and then he was gay living with this transgendered female to male, and they both came back to Christ, and they're now married as a couple, male and female, and are now going to be having their 3rd kid. I can't think of the name exactly, but it is just a phenomenal couple to watch and just see how devoted they are to making sure that this world and this generation knows that, yes, you could have been one way and you were one way, but the freedom that you can find in Jesus is just around the corner.
It makes me think of that verse where Paul talks about some of you once were, but now, right? This idea that One of the things in this issue, around this issue, that I think we need to get our heads around better is like somewhere between a hopeless resignation to whatever your reality is with same-sex attraction the day you come to Jesus is going to be the same the day you die, and the like super aggressive, if you just pray hard enough you can pray the gay away in a weekend or whatever. Like, it seems like there's either this like, this is not that simple, we'll just pray about it, or it's just all it is. Like, there's got to be some room in the middle for hope and faith in what God can do without boxing him in and going like, all right, Lord, you've got 6 months to change this or else I'm out. You know? Yeah.
I've got some resources just from over the years prepping and stuff. Jackie Hill Perry's book, Gay Girl, Good God. It's a really good book. Easy read. A little more robust is a guy named Preston Sprinkle, and he's got some great stuff on it. Very balanced, very what's the word? Like, just compassionate and conscientious of like people who are living or have come out of the same-sex lifestyle. So his book, A People to Be Loved, is really good. He's got one called Embodied, which deals more with like the transgender conversation. And then there's some books by a guy named Vaughn Roberts. He's got one called Transgender, and he's got one called Full of Grace and Truth. And that gets in, again, like I had a conversation every time I've preached on this stuff. I'll get the emails and people leave and all that. Like, it just comes with the territory. And again, the wins always outweigh the losses. Sure. But the last time I had this lady come to me, sent me a long email, why I was wrong, and, we need to talk. And I said, I'm happy to talk, but this has been my response basically, since then. It's just been like, but let's come to the table having similar language. So do me a favor, like, pick one of these books and we'll talk about it. And like, they all go into what the Bible is actually saying, because most of the affirming arguments are trying to jerry rig the Bible into saying something it's not. And I think my encouragement to, Christians who maybe are on the side of the camp that like more like, yeah, just pray the gay away, I would read some of these books because it'll open your eyes to like the reality, like that these men and women are actually having to wrestle through. Like, it's big. But then for the people who maybe are on the affirming side of the equation, like, you have to do the work with the Bible, and actually get into, like, just come at it from and it's very hard. Again, a lot of people, especially in my experience in the church, a lot of people who become affirming have done so because maybe a child, came out, and then they again, like, I put myself in that position. Like, it would be a very powerful thing, and you try to figure out how to build a category for them within your Christian framework. And so that happens a lot, but I think it's super important in these conversations, just like to have some reverence for the Word of God. Let's dig in. Like, if it's not saying that, then we'll let it be authoritative of whatever it's saying. But I think with this conversation, there's a lot of dishonesty around what the Scripture is actually saying, and the conversation gets pulled over into some other, orthopraxis sort of space, and not, okay, but what's orthodoxy? I'm
always fascinated by people who act as though homosexuality is a recent innovation, so the Bible couldn't, like,
that's one of the arguments.
Like, are you familiar with ancient Greece? Are you familiar with?
So in Preston Sprinkle's book, he talks all about that, because that's one of the main. In fact, spoiler alert, if you read it, the first half, you're going to think this guy's affirming.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, oh man, like, this guy's going to come out and tell me what, and then he comes back around and basically slaps both sides real hard, and it's nice. But that's in there though. It's like, that's just one of the main arguments for the affirming side, is that, in Jesus's time, there was no like loving same-sex attraction, and then the only homosexual activity was boys being molested by their owners or whatever. Like, no, this has always been a thing.
I do think one of the, and again, I'm not a historical expert on this, but in some of the study I've done, I do think part of the thing that makes this a unique challenge is it's an inflammatory term, but I'll use it, propaganda from the LGBTQ
For
community,
sure.
that this is not an inclination or an activity. It is a personhood.
It's identity.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, I've heard historians talk about, like, there would be guys in the first centuries like, oh no, like I have sex with another dude 5 times a week. Like, are you gay? He's like, what the frig is gay?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it just wasn't a mental category.
The Greek, that was part of masculinity.
Right. It wasn't, but it wasn't like this is a thing I am. It was like, and you're married, you have a wife. Yeah. Gotta have some kids. Like, yeah. But I don't, like, they would just look at you like, what are these categories that you've invented?
Yeah.
And I think that another separate but related thought, one of the things I love about, there's an intersection between this issue and helping people who struggle with it and Celebrate Recovery. Because one of the things I love about Celebrate Recovery builds into the culture of a church is the idea that someone can have victory over a struggle, but that does not mean the struggle goes away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so this idea that, your options are not, I never wanted to drink again, or I was a raging alcoholic. There's this thing in the middle called recovery, right? Yeah. Where, yes, it's still a thing. You still have to pay attention to it. You can't pretend it's not there, but you can live in victory over it. Mm-hmm. I think the same is true. And it's so funny, like in CR, we would say that even about sexual addictions, porn addictions, all that kind of,
drugs,
right? Like whatever your thing is, right? Like to say like, no, like you need to tend to that area of weakness, but you can live in victory over it, right? And I think that's maybe some of the perspective that's helpful for people too, is to go like, if this is an area of struggle for you, and it might be an area of struggle for you your whole life, that doesn't mean it's going to be an area for struggle for you like a heroin addict who falls off the wagon every 3 weeks.
Right.
It can be like just a thing that you have to be mindful of, but God can give you victory over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you a couple other quick questions, Sarah, then we got to get on to our Mountainous Top 4, which I'm super excited for today. But how do you think the church can best serve people who are struggling? I mean, we've kind of hinted around this, but like, best serve people who are struggling with same-sex addiction or same-sex attraction. I mean, if it's a full-blown addiction, we'll help you with that too, but attraction.
Honestly, love them.
Yeah.
Love them.
What does that look like?
Define that, because you touched on that earlier.
Because the affirming folks would say that just means put up the flags and cheer for them, and the God hates fags people would say, go protest their funerals and tell them they're going to hell. And
That's what 9 times out of 10 the people in the community think is, just because we don't agree with what they're doing is that we don't love them, we don't respect them or appreciate them. No, it's not that we don't love or respect you. It's that we don't agree with the sin that you're in. It's not you, it's the sin. Yeah. So I love you. Come, let's talk. We're not shunning you. We're not pushing you away because you live this way. It's like, no, come here. Like, you're a child of God too.
One of the things I think I'd want to affirm, poor choice of words in the context of this conversation.
Keeps coming. It's a powder keg.
In you, Sarah, is you, because of your experience in your past, you have an opportunity to be heard on this issue in a way that that Brent or I or lots of other people just don't. And so I just want to encourage you to keep sharing your story and keep sharing what God has done in your life. And there's always going to be people who are, well, you guys just don't get it, or you guys don't know.
Yeah, you do.
And
I get it. I've been there, done that. Got the T-shirt.
You have a. We
got a back corner shirt for you too.
Oh yeah, we do.
Beautiful. Excellent.
Last question. You said that when you gave your life to Jesus, kind of those desires, those attractions went away. And you've said you're very kind of happy single. You feel like that's that calling. But do you like boys? Is there like that guy's handsome? I mean, I'm sure you can objectively tell when, someone like Dr. Ben is handsome, but like, have you found that there's been that kind of swing? Or is it just kind of like, I just like everybody as friends.
It's funny. Me and a couple of the girls at school actually had this conversation the other day, one day late at night when we were all up doing nothing. Honestly,
I mean, you're hanging out with a bunch of 18, 19, 20-year-old girls. That's probably 80% of the conversation.
You know what? But that's the thing. I can honestly say I never really had an attraction to boys to begin with.
Yeah.
I don't purposely think that unless God puts a remarkable attraction of men on my mind that I will ever go down that path. Mm-hmm. But right now I am just fully and completely in love with being in love with Jesus, and I'm okay with that.
That's awesome.
It's
beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of t-shirts, we do have some gifts for you here. We have a back corner hat.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Because I know you're a hat lady.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And then I was going to give you a back corner shirt. Mm-hmm. One of these beautiful, ask me about the Nephilim shirts.
I love the Nephilim.
I do like that. I do like that.
But Kelly told me you might actually prefer, and we had one of these left, the classic Ask Me About Jesus
Awesome.
shirt.
Love it.
Those are hard to get.
Yeah,
Thank
those are,
you.
that was,
We can get you a Nephilim one too.
we have a size small pink, and then that one. We're all that we're left of
No,
those.
that was brilliant. Thank you so very much.
All right,
I appreciate it.
so here we go. Mountainous top 4. I'm so excited for this one. This might be a little bit self-serving that I picked this, but I just love these. Top 4 colloquialisms. Colloquialisms are those kind of fun, folksy, down-to-earth little sayings that get repeated that I believe show that mastery of the English language is not just reserved for those who write literature and poetry. So what are your top 4 favorite colloquialisms?
You want me to get rolling here?
Go for it.
Okay. All right. My top 4, I actually veered shorter than longer.
Okay.
Like not full statements, more just a couple words.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Coming in at number 4, calling things she. Like, she ain't scared, or like, yeah, she'll do.
Yeah.
Like
she'll
just,
scoop.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just she in front of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, she's a good one.
She's a beaut.
Yeah. Just
She's blowing up a gale out there.
she is just about the gift that keeps on giving.
I love it.
I don't know how it happened. There's a little nod to the Maina too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they like.
I wonder
Yeah.
if some of that comes from, because Maine had a large French, it still does up north, French population.
Maybe.
There's gender for everything in
Yeah.
French, right?
Yeah, but typically it defaults to she. If you're talking about a truck,
yeah.
you're talking about a,
It'd be
whatever.
interesting to do a study to see how
Weather.
consistently the things that people refer to as she are feminine in French.
Typically, and it's you use it atmospherically. Oh, she's cold out there.
Yeah.
Or you use it about
An object.
judging the reliability of an object.
Quality.
She's tough.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I love it.
She jumpins.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Just jumpins.
Yeah.
Jumpins. Spot.
Jumping, old ball-headed.
Jumping. Diane Dixon. Number 2, this is a whole catalog, but organizational chatter.
yeah.
So we, circle back.
Synergy.
Synergy, next level.
Gonna leverage.
Gonna put a pin in that.
Yeah, you gotta put it
All systems go. We're sailing.
Here's a great thing to debate. Your first 2 are hilarious, but not technically colloquialisms. Is like business speak, buzz speak. Are those forms of colloquialism?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And I do think my first ones are
They're
colloquial adjacent.
Yeah, totally. They're in the people who use colloquialisms use those too.
And they're really the launch pad of whatever
Absolutely.
fuller colloquialism we're gonna.
They are to baseball what playing catch is.
Yeah. Well said.
Not the whole game, but it's part of it.
Number 1, and this is the shortest of all of them. A.
Love A.
Just A.
Yep.
It just works. It's a question. It's a statement. It's everything.
Technical definition for those of our American listeners, especially, of what A does is it turns a statement into a question.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice day out, eh?
Yeah.
As opposed to, is it a nice day out?
What do people do without it?
She's a nice day out, eh?
Yeah.
She's some nice, eh?
Jumping. She's a nice day, huh?
I love it.
Yeah. Well, let's. We got some real synergy going here, and we'll
All right.
circle back to you. But let's jump over to you, Sarah.
Oh, goodness. I'd say probably I say this actually quite often. I'll talk to my mom at night, and it'll be like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and she'll just be getting supper, and I'll be like, "Oh, eating with rich folk tonight, are you?"
That is so hick. I love it.
Yeah, that reminds me too. Like there, I don't know. It pops up in my social media algorithms every once in a while. There's a girl on social media who will cold call random people in the Maritimes and just start talking to them.
Yes.
Oh, what you got going on there tonight, eh? Yeah. It's like, oh, just cooking a stew. Yeah. like, and just like, it's like that. What you said there just reminded me of that. I just,
eating with the rich.
and the people are so polite. They're just like not put off by it at all. They're just having a full car.
And if
you're watching Jeopardy,
if you're hitting landlines, you're getting older people.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right. What do you got next?
Next one, I'd have to say right now, especially with the younger generation that I go to school with, when I talk about something from my past, I'll be like, when I was knee high to a grasshopper.
Oh, yes.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
That is which is funny because they pick an insect, but it is probably the insect with the highest knees to the ratio of the body.
Insects. Yeah, it's got good knees. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got any others?
Knee high to a grasshopper.
I don't know. I know I can probably, I think Kelly and I were talking about this one earlier. Like, especially when you're talking to somebody who might not be completely with it. Dumb as a doorpost.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Is it dumb as a doorpost?
Is it dumb as a doorpost? Or Kelly and I thought dumb as a doornail or dumb as a doorknob?
Both. They're all appropriate.
Yep.
All usable.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Well done.
Very cool.
You got a fourth?
Fourth, I think I say this a lot after a big meal, is my eyes were always bigger than my stomach.
That's a good one. Yep. That's a classic. We've all employed that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm passionate about colloquialisms. The wordsmith in me loves them.
I felt the joy rise immediately.
Bro, I love these. So I've got 3 honorable mentions, and then my top 4.
Well, I did a catalog of organizational chatter, so you go ahead.
Jim Cornette has an expression he uses, says we're farting through silk, which refers to being so rich you can afford silk underwear. Oh, yeah, we get that money comes in, we'll be farting through silk. I love that. My grandmother always used to talk about somebody not having a pot in her window. Because they're so broke. Our neighbors at Beulah, Hal Green, has the line, he always says, a lazy man had known an easier way to do that. Whenever he sees people working hard or something. So those are my honorable mentions.
All right,
my top 4, another Jim Cornette one, phony as a get well card from an undertaker. I love that one. From my sister-in-law's father, referencing a guy who decided he needed to quite quickly break up with a girl over some significant issue, said, dropped her like a big turd from a tall horse's rear end.
Yours are a little more boutique, a little more niche.
I'm telling you, I love these.
This is the IPA version of
it's a small craft,
small batch colloquialism.
I don't know if it's original to him, but I first heard it from Rob McDowell's lazy man who can't find his wife a second job. Talking about when times get tough. It's a lazy man who can't find his wife a second job.
My.
And then from my beloved Aunt Roxine, her description of, I mean, just the fact that it's Roxine, it tells you where we're
it's
going.
Already winning.
Her description of if she goes out to eat somewhere or whatever and the food was just fine, she'll go, it'll make a turd. Yeah, it's like
there's a theme in yours.
There's a few turds. Yeah.
A lot of gastrointestinal.
What's the food like? It'll make a turd. Or how was your meal? It'll make a turd. Which the thing I love about it is it implies that the highest goal of eating is the production of a turd. Like not it had calories or it'll tie me over, but it'll make a turd.
Not since we talked about the Porsche entitled Little You Know What. Have we been so close to the line for an episode?
Hey, we gave a warning halfway through.
That is true. Yeah. That is true. Hopefully Ron won't have to do quite as much editing as he had to in that one.
That was pretty aggressive.
Yeah. Sarah, thank you so much.
Yes. Thank
you.
It's been fun. Thank you. It has been a pleasure.
You've been a blessing. I love what God's doing in your life, and thanks for sharing your story with us.
Thank for not just kind of sitting on that story, but being willing to share it. I think it's going to be an encouragement to a lot of people. I think it's going to help kind of shift some people's perspectives, and I think God's going to continue to use it as you continue to share it.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, until tomorrow.
Love the song. There's a voice keeps on calling me.
Oh man.
Down the road, that's where I'll always be. Every stop I make, I'm making new friends. Just stay along, just turn around and I'm gone again.
Oh, let's just sing it.
Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on.
Harmony.